Salam beautiful people over the internet. In this video we're going to create this grocery app and this is shared by Mishba. You can find her on the Behance and this is her email address. If you need some UX you can contact her through this. So yeah, let's get started. Let's open our Figma design file and this is our Figma design file and let's analyze this thing a little bit. As you can see, this is our primary color and we have an image. So first of all we're going to do this page here and then we'll move on to the next. But you can see this button has been shared all over the apps. Also this text field has been shared on many pages, and then we will have this thing card and other stuff. Yeah, this is good. Let's get jump into it. In order to create the project, I will press Ctrl+Shift+P and I will search Flutter. And from here, I will select this Flutter new project. Then I will come here, the empty application. And where I like to store this stuff, app name, we'll name it grocery app. So yeah, it will take some time and the file will be generated. This is our nice little hello world application and we can verify it. So I'll go to the run and run without debug and I'll select Windows as my build system. If everything is alright, we'll get this hello world application and we can close it because we don't need it now. So there are a few things we like to do. We like to organize our code. So for that reason, I will remove our main app, which is the material, from this place and create a few folders under the leaf. First, I'll create a source folder and inside here I'll create a app folder. In this app folder, I will create a file called grocery shop app.dart, which will be our app entry point. Here we're going to create a stateful widget and we will name it grocery shop app. Let's import the material and this grocery shop app will be import here. So I prefer using relative import, so I will use a fixed format here. Let's go back to our grocery shop app.dart file. Instead of container, we will return the material app from here. I'm going to create another folder inside this source folder and it will be our presentation layer, so I will name it presentation. In this folder I'll put all our pages and widgets, that is UI related. Let's analyze the Figma design for a little bit. So if you can see that in this Figma design we have many images, so we'll import it, and other than this we have a common background and the button is also has been shared on many different places and the text field we can use, yeah, and all other stuff we'll check that later. So let's create the landing page first. I'm going to create a folder inside this presentation called as landing page where I'll put the landing page. Let's create another folder called auth page. Maybe we don't need this landing folder here. We can just put the landing page inside the auth page. We'll figure it out later. So inside this landing folder, I'll create called landing page.dart. We can create a stateless widget. Let's name it the landing page and import the material. And let's use it as a home page to design the UI. So I'll go back to our grocery shop app.dart file and use home inside the material and put the landing page there. So let's go to our pathsplit.html. First we'll import all our images. So let's create a folder here. On the root folder I'll create a assets folder, and inside the assets folder I'll create a images folder, and in this images folder I'll put all the assets images that I'll export from the Figma. In this prospect.yml file, I'll refer those images here, so we'll be good to go. So I have already exported on my local directory. I'll copy and paste here. So I'll grab it and paste it on this images folder. So once I am done, I'll have this image, and we can use the asset chain to name this stuff. Maybe this is fine because I don't have that much thing here. Now the next thing is we need to add few other dependencies, like I like to have a different font here. For that, I will come back here in this source folder on this app. I will create a new file called app theme.dart, and in this app theme.dart I will define our basic color from that Figma file. So we can do it class. I'll just copy paste few basic colors for that. One is the primary, another one is for the background, which is totally white, and some border color, and the card kind of gray color. We have it here. If we come back to the Figma, and we can see we have few little bubble here on the background, and so we can use a radial gradient for this. So I'll come back here and I'll copy paste few other colors here, and we need to pass a theme data to the material app. So I'll create another one is theme data, and in this theme data we'll be returning theme. We're going to have a transparent background color, so we'll pass the scaffold background color as a transparent. And for the text theme, we like to have a different font. I haven't imported Google fonts. And for the text themes, I will going to use the Google font, so I can come back here, or I just press Ctrl Shift P, add dependencies. I have different extension for this. It is like quite handy. So I'll select Google Fonts, this one, and it will be automatically added in this position. Why it is taking so time? Yeah, you can see that's one. So I can come back to my theme page, and from here I'll do this thing here. So we'll use pop-in text themes and we'll import that thing. Yeah, that's why I grabbed that text theme here. So this is good. Also, there is one more thing, we can play with the elevated button here. Like often it is having kind of red color, so yeah, we'll do it here. So this here, elevated button theme, will be elevated button theme data. Let's hide the thing, and in here first we like to update the style here, so it will be elevated button, dot style from, and then we like to have the background color. This background color will be our primary color, and then for the foreground color it will be color is white, because everything is. Also we could use this one, and for the padding we will add, instead of symmetric, we'll use 24 for the horizontal and 18 for the vertical. Use a const here, and now let's create that page here. One thing we have forgot, we need to go to the grocery app, and for the theme we're going to use app theme.theme, and it expected text theme, so we're going to get it from the context. I'll create a variable called final text theme, and we'll get theme of context.text theme. So let's create our background view first. So I'll create a few folders. First I will navigate to this icon, and inside this presentation folder I'll create a common folder. So we can name it underscore common, because I like to have it at the top level. And inside this common folder, I'll create another one which will be a widgets folder. And we processed a build earlier and it has been showed up a black canvas. First I can replace this container with this scaffold, but it is showing a black color because we already set the theme, the scaffold background color as a transparent. So let's just hide this debug panel. In this widget folder, we're going to create a background view.dart file, which will be a wrapper widget for our widget or the pages. So we can create a stateless widget and name it the background view. This widget first it will take a child that will be used kind of body the main view, and another will be a list of background bubble because we will have more than one bubbles on different view. Our background bubble class hasn't been created, so let's create it here. I'm going to create a background bubble.dart file and create a stateless widget named as background bubble. First it will take a list of colors and we can have a radius as a double or maybe a size, and of course the alignment because we'll be using it inside a stack widget. Radius and the size, we might need just only one. We'll check it out later. Let's create the constructor for this. So first it will have the super key and then the list of colors. We already have a default colors that we can get from the app theme, and then radius maybe the one, maybe we'll use and for the size we can pass as 200, and alignment will be required because we'll be placed on different places. From the build method, we can return a align widget and we can use our aligned parameter. We can use our align argument, and for the child, we can use sizebox.form size because we already passed down the size here and use it here. For this child, we'll use the decoration box, and let's use the decoration box decoration and the gradient. And we're going to use a radial gradient because we'll have a circular shape, and for the colors we'll use the colors that has been passed down and stop, maybe it is not needed. Let's get back to our background view.dart file, and instead of container we're going to replace with a Safari widget because we don't wanna mess with the status bar and other things. And then I'll use the material widget and use color from our app theme that will be our background. And for the child, I'm going to use a stack because we are going to render a multiple bubbles here just in let for loop. And I'm going to have a background filter with the image filter that blur and provide this sigma x and sigma y. You can play with this value, and for the child I'll use the pass down child. Let's get back to our Figma to understand the background view. So we can look at here, we have a single bubble here, but the next thing we can have two. So let's create a factory constructor for this single bubble. The child will be required and we will have an optional key, and we can return the bubble instance with the alignment of this value because I have played with it and it works well. And for the key and child we're going to pass those arguments. Now if we get back to our landing page and return the background view.single, and for the child we can use the scaffold. Let's do a hot restart and bring back our UI. We can see our beautiful radial gradient that will be used for the background. Let's create a text theme variable to get the text theme from the context. And I'm going to use it to style the text and this is scaffold. And for the body, I'm going to use a stack widget. So I'm going to use a image.ss to get the landing page image. So it will be image.ss, and we can wrap with the aspect ratio so it maintain the size. Also, I like to have the top padding, so we can use a position widget left right is equal to 0, and for the top we can use 64. Also, I forgot to provide the feed as we can use the box feed width, and we can also and let's provide the feed is stack width.expand. Let's render our text here. So we have two different text. We can see first one will be rich text because we have different style, and another one is just a simple text. So we're going to use a column widget. So first I'm going to have a position widget. Left right is equal to 24 because I want to have some padding, and maybe push from the bottom to 64. And for the child, let's use the column widget and the stretch width and the minimum height. For the first child, we're going to use a text widget. We can just use the text.reach and it expects a text pen. And here I'll pass the by. And for the children, the first children will be grocery because we'll having a different red color. The next text pen will be the items easily with us. So let's just align the text to the center and have the same text style. So I'm going to create a const gap with a height as 24 and use it here. For the next child, I'll add the text here, and text align is equal to center because I have stressed the column. And I'm going to have another gap, and lastly I'm going to have a button. For that button, let's create another file on the common widgets folder, so it will be our app button.dat file, and let's name it app button and import the material. So it will take a label and will have a on tap callback. We can use the height and icon for the reference. Maybe I'll have the arrow some places and fill the constructor. Maybe I'll just name it as required as on tap because for the button we'll need to always have this one. Maybe if you like to disable this one, use the nullable. And let's use the factory constructor. Maybe I'll just increase the size for a button, but this is not how I ideally do. Anyway, let's do it here. So first it will be an optional key and the required label, a required on tap callback, and the icon. I would say always use a void callback as a nullable because you can have a disable effect, but hey, for this let's just keep move on. And inside this build method, we can return the size box, the height we are getting. If we pass the height, we'll force to have it height, but this is not the best way to do it. You should use the fixed height from the elevated button style. Anyway, let's proceed. And for the child, if we have the icon, we will use elevated button.icon, else we just use elevated button. So if icon is not equal to null, we're going to use elevated button icon, and on press just pass the on tap and label the text. And if we don't have the icon, we'll use the elevated button, and on pressed and the child the text will be the same. And if we have the icon, we'll pass it here. For the icon element, I'm going to use the icon element.end. And for the style, I can use the elevated button dot style from, and for shape, the rounded rectangle border, and the border radius circular will be 24. Now I also need the same style on my elevated button bottom here, so I will just copy and paste it. And this border radius will be less circular, maybe the 12. We can see a pattern that we're having a duplicate code here. What we can do, we can just merge in a single elevated button.icon because the icon is a nullable thing. So if we don't pass the icon element doesn't mean anything. And for the border radius, if item is not equal to null, then I'll have the 24, and if it is null, let's use the 12. So I can remove this whole condition thing. So it is quite minimal. Also, you can play with the height. Instead of this height, you can use the fixed height. Let's go back to our landing page and use this app button.large, and for the label provide it and the icon arrow forward and on tap. And now if we do a hard restart, we can see our output.